Hello, I'm Sister Kathleen O'Neill, a nun of Mississippi Abbey outside Dubuque, Iowa. We're a community of Trappist monastic women. And it's been suggested to us that since our life is a life that includes contemplation and solitude, that perhaps we might share some of our experience with people, especially in this time when so many are dealing with much more emptiness and solitude than they have had in the past. I'd like to start this opening reflection just with a few words, not so much yet on prayer or emptiness, but just on the experience of the pandemic in general. Now, we are a little bit sheltered from some of the effects that others are experiencing because, as cloistered contemplatives, we are generally separated from the world in any case. And so our life has not been as much affected as many people's has. That's to some degree true. In my own personal case, actually, my own mother did come down with the COVID virus. She's 91 years old. By the grace of God, she recovered. And that's about as close as the disease itself has come. We have good community friends in New York City too, and so we hear about what's going on there. Some of them are first responders, and so we're brought in touch with a bad experience there in New York. But I'd like to speak just on a little more on the overall situation, because whatever our experience at this point in the world's life, whatever our experience of disease or of solitude, or perhaps the opposite of being confined with family members or other people for a prolonged time, one element that we're all dealing with, I think, is uncertainty. This was perhaps felt most acutely back in March and into April when we were really all taken off guard about what might be happening and what might not be happening. How long this was going to last. Was this just something short term? Was life going to get back to normal soon? Most of us probably thought it might. But in any case, there's a great deal of uncertainty even at this point. How will it affect our lives going forward? Can we start readmitting guests on our property? What will happen with our candy business? These are some of the things that affect us. How do we plan for what we need to produce this year when we don't know what sales will be like in our normal heavy sales season? Well, these are questions that in one way or another are affecting probably almost everybody. One thought that has occurred to me about this pandemic and the experience of it on a large scale is for each of us personally going through this. One question we might reflect on some is, how is God providing some opportunities for me during this time? For me, for those close to me, for the world, yes, but most of us can't answer for the world or can't experience for the whole world. So what is it that God is inviting me to in this time? Because in every experience, there's opportunity and there's invitation from God. Now, this can sound frightening. It can sound like, oh, God's got something that I'm supposed to do right now, and I need to be acting really well and dealing with this perfectly. No, I don't mean that at all. Some of the opportunity may be actually discovering my weaknesses in a new way. It may be learning how much I don't know, or how prone I am to emotions that I can't really necessarily get a grip on. But in any case, whatever my experience is, there is an opportunity from God. I think sometimes our life can be like, those old-fashioned carousels are actually probably before my time. I hear that there used to be carousels where you'd try to grab a ring as the carousel went along. It's kind of a prize. Well, in a way, God gives us a life that has a lot of rings. Most of those rings we don't even see. And of the ones we see, most of them we may not even attend to, or we may not be able to grasp. But in any case, God keeps providing them because He loves us and because He wants our flourishing. So the first thought I would have about this pandemic is, what can I find by way of opportunity in this? Our community as a whole, actually, this is June as I am recording this, and we've been on a different regime within our community, so for about the last 3 months. And we've taken a couple of mornings recently not mornings, but a short time in a couple of mornings to reflect on what have been some of the effects of this on our life. And in fact, we've noticed some effects that we're thinking, these are actually some good things that are happening to us. How can we carry them forward? What are some things from this experience that we already know we would like to continue some of this experience? There have been some positive elements for us that were quite unexpected. So whatever it might be, the COVID offers us, as every experience in our life does, but this one perhaps more powerfully than many, it offers us a time to reflect on what are the opportunities for me here? How can God use this time in my life? When I come back at the end of this, whatever the end might be, we don't really even know what the end is that we would look for and consider, well, it's all over now. What would that be? We don't know at this point. That's another of the uncertainties. How do we decide when the pandemic is over or when the experience of it is over? Because it has economic effects, obviously. Very serious ones perhaps, but we don't know yet how serious. So when I want to look back on this time, what would I like to see bearing fruit in my own life? So how would I like to look back on this with the eyes of faith and see what has God produced for me in this time?